Mr. Koti, last I met you was at the Arabian Travel Market in Dubai, and it was a pleasure talking to you. And how I wanted to ask you, in the last 3-4 years, the focus on Zimbabwe's tourism industry has obviously yielded very good results with the organization of the Sanganai World Expo, and also with the opening of the Victoria Falls International Airport. How do you see Zimbabwe's tourism industry growing in the next 3, 4, 5 years?
So thank you very much as well for hosting us here in Dubai. It was quite lovely, and we're grateful that you came also here to Zimbabwe to see for yourself what we're talking about, and I trust that you've been impressed and you've experienced the product that we talk about. As far as the next 5 years or so is concerned for tourism, we are looking at some serious growth. I think we've been growing in leaps and bounds. I say this because of the numbers speak for themselves. This past year we got an odd 2.4 million visitors from outside the country, and we are targeting to be sitting at about 3 million, hopefully, at the end of the year, and then maintain that for the next 5 or so years, maybe between 3 and 5 million visitors that will come into the country. The reason why we say that is because we are putting serious emphasis on developing the tourism product. We are putting serious emphasis on making sure that the tourism product itself is appreciated by the locals first, so they can invest in it, and the rest is history really, because it now will be self-selling.
Last time we talked about your emphasis on the Middle East markets and exploring how you can get a slice of the outbound tourism market from the Middle East. Now we have seen recent developments that the Zimbabwe government has signed a contract to have an official pavilion at the Dubai Expo 2020. So relations between the Middle East and Zimbabwe have started warming up. Now with air connectivity also improving over the last few years, with Emirates flying into Harare and other airlines also planning to start services to this part of the world, how do you see relations, bilateral tourism relations between Middle East and Zimbabwe growing?
First of all, we came to Dubai for the Happiness Summit, beginning of 2019, with the then Minister of Tourism. We met with the Director General of Tourism in Dubai. And we had quite an interesting conversation with them in terms of trying to set up partnerships, in terms of trying to kickstart the relationship, to kickstart the conversation of the bilateral understanding between the two countries. And we are very confident that going forward we will be having a whole lot more things opening up, which is why we now have this MOU that we've signed with various players within the tourism sector in Dubai. For starters, to have Emirates flying into the country is a very big thing for us. So we want also to create that bilateral fly between Zimbabwe and Dubai exclusively, to make sure that we cultivate the relations in the Middle East. And this is something that we are really focusing on, and this is something that we are taking very seriously. We were looking at a 20% growth this year from the Middle East markets. So we're hoping that we'll be on target. So far it looks very good. The indications are that we are going to hit our target and even probably surpass it.
With the tourism industry growing at a frantic pace in Zimbabwe, what kind of opportunities are there for Middle East investors to invest in the hospitality industry in Zimbabwe, which is obviously growing at a good pace?
So right now we have been trying to conscientize the local market on how to host our counterparts from the Middle East, and this has been very difficult, if I may put it that way. But we're getting breakthroughs, but they're very small breakthroughs. So we're looking at getting investors from outside of Zimbabwe, preferably in the Middle East, to come and show us what they really want, to see how they host their own, and probably we'll learn from there. And if there's invested interest from our counterparts in the Middle East, we're definitely sure that more people will come and visit. So if you come here, Hasan, and say, I want to start a hotel in Zimbabwe, and we give you the land to do so, you are absolutely going to get as many people from the Middle East into Zimbabwe. So this is what we are emphasizing on when we go out there, to say we are looking for investment from the Middle East that will then make sense for us as far as arrivals are concerned. And when arrivals are there, it means the spend is unlimited.
For those wanting to visit Zimbabwe for the first time from the Middle East region, what would be your message, and what kind of hospitality can they expect?
The hospitality is second to none. Our people are friendly, our people are lovely, they are hardworking, so whatever it is that you have in mind, they will give it to you. They will take good care of you. I can vouch for that. I would also like to let them know that we have majestic sites in this country. I'm not even talking about the Victoria Falls, because for me it is really the ultimate. But there's plenty other little places to visit in Zimbabwe. And of course, our pristine wildlife is amazing. The culture and heritage is to die for. You really want to learn more about this. Industrialization in Africa started in Egypt and in Southern Africa. In Southern Africa, you're talking about Zimbabwe, because this is where Cecil John Rhodes started the industrialization movement. And you know what? He's buried in Zimbabwe. How about you come and experience the great Christopher Columbus movement within the Victoria Falls, where he left his good friend David Livingstone to then discover what we already had to the outside world. I think it's a beautiful country. It's amazing. It's got lovely aspects of it that you really don't want to miss out on.
Thank you so much, Mr. Koti. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so
very
much.
Hasan.
Thank you.